Hey there, and welcome to That's Audacious, where we share entrepreneurial stories from amazing leaders to inspire and motivate you to be bold, brave, and audacious. I'm your host, Lauren Clemett, the brand navigator, here to share stories that will make you say, well, that's audacious. Hello and welcome to the That's Audacious podcast. We have the fabulous Katrina Sawa with us today. Katrina is a sought-after business coach, an international speaker, but more importantly, she's a book publisher. What she doesn't know about publishing and marketing books is not worth knowing. And she has a very direct and inspirational way of talking to people about not just writing a book, but how do you get it out there and having the confidence to take it to the next level. She's got over 25 years of experience in helping thousands of business owners to level up their confidence and get their pricing right, simplify their marketing, and automate everything. Wouldn't that be cool if you could just have your book selling on autopilot, if you could have your thought leadership out there? She's guided over 150 entrepreneurs through the process of becoming a published author, using books as a powerful tool to boost their visibility, their credibility, and their business. Now, you can see exactly why Katrina's on the That's Audacious podcast, because that's what we're all about. Katrina, thank you so much for being here today. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit, why books? What got you into books? Did you always love books? What was the reason behind it?
Oh my God, this is so funny. You're going to die. So I never wanted to be an author. First of all, I don't even like to read. Okay. I don't really like to read. I don't read. I like to listen. I like to listen to speakers and go to conferences and gain info that way. I do read, but people always ask me, like, what's your favorite book to read? And I'm like, my own book. Like, because I wrote about what I needed the most, right? And the lessons that I learned. And I'm frankly still need to keep reminding myself of the same lesson. But when I first became a business owner, I was like, and people started writing books. I'm like, why do I want to sell a $20 thing when I can sell a $200 thing, a $2,000 thing, or a $20,000 thing? That didn't compute in my marketing and sales brain until I saw people getting on stages more and on TV with their books. And I'm like, oh, use it as a marketing tool. I got it. Okay. Sign me up.
So it's a door opening opportunity, isn't it, really, having a book? Do you think it's funny, we were talking before we got on the podcast about how people sort of get so wound up in the production of the book, in the making of the book, that they lose the fact that half of the job is only done when you've written the book. The other half of it, the majority of what you have to do is marketing the book. What are some of the big reasons why people don't think about that side of things?
Because they think they're just going to write their story or get their message out. They don't, and sometimes it's totally different than what they do in their business. So if they have a business or in their career, but I work with business owners who usually write books, and sometimes they want to write something totally different. And I said, well, how does that correlate with what you're doing in your business? It's totally fine to write a book about, you know, life purpose if you're a printing company owner. I don't know, like, but how are you going to tie it in, right? You have to be able to tie it in so that it's not just this single thing over here, because a book is a business. So when you have and if you're in corporate or if you have a job, when you write a book is a business. And so you have to build some kind of business around the book, or at least a funnel into your regular business of some sort. Or you're just doing it and it's cost thousands of dollars perhaps to get the book done. So let's get yourself an ROI.
No, I love that idea of thinking of your book as part of your business. So if you're listening to the podcast and you've either got a book or you are thinking of writing a book to support you as a consultant or a professional or a speaker or whatever it is you're doing, yeah, the mindset shift has got to be, it's not just an add-on to what I do. This is a big part of my business. So what are some of the first steps that people need to, let's talk first of all about the people who maybe haven't written a book yet and they're thinking about it. What are some of the things they need to be considering in order to make sure that that book becomes part of their business? It's not just an add-on.
Right. It's really good to think about what you're going to do with the book after, when it's done, before you even write the word, because like the first thing I tell people to do when they haven't even written a book yet is to write the back cover copy, because that's the marketing copy for the book. That's how people decide if they want to buy it or not. So when you know that, then it's kind of the overview, right? So it's just so important to think of what you're going to do with it. Do you want to be doing book tours all over, the United States or Australia? Do you want to be on TV? Do you want to? I've had some people just say they want to write the book to give it to friends and family so they hear their story and they don't care about anything else. Okay, that's fine too. Whatever your goals are is fine. Just clarify them up front because I've had people come to me that say, so and so told me to come to you because I'm writing this book and I want to make $100,000 from it and I need a plan to da da da. And I'm like, $100,000 from the book? Like a $20 book you want to make? Do you know how many books you have to sell to get like what else are you selling? Because that's not going to happen unless you're somebody super, and they had no following and they had no email list, they had no business. They just thought the books would sell. And I'm like, no, they're not going to sell unless you market them or you get picked up by some big publisher, you know, which is very rare these days. Just saying.
I mean, this is the reason why we are talking, because you and I are so similar in the way that we think about this. Because we always talk at the Audacious Agency about, okay, before you win awards, why? What's the purpose? What's the reason? What are you going to do with them? And it's the same with the book, isn't it? Is what's it going to deliver for you as a human being, but also if it's part of your business or part of your brand, how is it going to reinforce what you already say and what you do? And how is it going to be a door opener or get you on those stages or encourage someone to want to work with you? So when you are creating your thought leadership book, let's call it that thing that's going to really give you that collateral, if you like, that enables you to step up as a keynote speaker or a specialist or whatever. How much of it can be used as a sales funnel? Do we always need to have like a QR code in there that will scan this and book a call with me and so on? What's the door opener side of a book compared to the sharing of information part of the book?
A lot of my clients do like journal entries on the end of their chapter, or they have some sort of exercise at the end of most of the chapters. I did that in my books too. So that kind of like there was always something that they had to go download to look at because it's too big or too much to put in a book, right? So if you can, I even had a client just recently do a workbook that went with the book. She was originally planning on putting all of it into the book, and there was so much workbook that it really wasn't going to be a book anymore. And it was going to be like 500 pages. And I'm like, nobody wants to read a 500-page book. So I'm like, I think you need two. You need the book that has the concepts and the training and the information and the why and the stories and all the things. And then you lead them to the workbook, which can be a free download if you get on the list, or it could be a purchase or whatever, an add-on or whatever. And then you have a bundle too. So instead of a $20 book and a $30 workbook, you can bundle it for $69.99 or whatever. I don't know. Like there's so many different ways to do it. But again, if you don't think ahead, then she had written it all together. So we had to then take time to pull the content apart. Okay. So she didn't think about that ahead of time. And she just wrote so much that she didn't know, which is fine. I'd rather have you write too much than not enough. Yeah.
There's an example. There's a lot of light bulb moments going off because my book, which I wrote for my speaking business, Brand True North, if I look at this, it's 292 pages long. And it's awesome because I sell them a lot when I speak. Often I sell, books at events and people will be lined up out the door to get hold of my book and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But if you think about it as a business point of view, it probably, if I wanted this to be just a business book that I sent out to someone to introduce myself to be a keynote speaker on their stage, it probably should be like a 150-page book because every time I print this, it's quite expensive.
Yeah. I don't want to read that. And it's expensive. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh my goodness, okay, that idea that I've had for a book, I now need to think about how could it be a little sample size to give someone a taste of what I'm like. This is a workbook.
Look at these size books. This one's a tiny little square about LinkedIn tips, 52 tips. And this one's just like a little booklet. I mean, and this, so dyslexia. So like you can do little, because when you do a media kit, you need to send your book, right? So don't make it so fat that, it's $20 to print or ship. and and you're sending it out blindly, because I probably give more copies of my book away than I sell, honestly. Do you know why? Because people freaking hire me once they read my book,
Yeah.
especially the loved one, you know. I get a lot of people that don't charge enough what they're worth. And so the Love Yourself Successful book is the book that helps them with their worth and their confidence to charge more and go after more, and they deserve to have bigger goals and yada yada. And
Yeah.
so, and this is the book that I read most often too, but it's it's this book that makes people hire me in the coaching so I can make tens of thousands of dollars when someone has this book. So I don't care if I give it away. What did it cost me? $3.50 on Amazon, right? I mean, like, I give them to clients, they're bonus gifts. Some people are so concerned with selling it at regular price plus tax and shipping that you're just blowing it because you're not thinking of the grand picture of what you can get out of it when someone does read your book.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're listening to this and you've either got a book and you're sitting there going, oh my goodness, I wish I'd known this information before I started. Really, it's not too late, because I think also people can repurpose their existing IP, can't they? And as you say, they can go, okay, what out of this could be my little teaser book versus my workbook versus my series of books. And I know there's a lot of people, Dr. Stacey Ashley that I've worked with, she's got a series of books, so don't panic. It's just a case of thinking about your book more as a commercial enterprise, isn't it? Rather than just,
Yeah.
I want to write a book.
Don't panic, because you can redo it too. So this was the first edition of my Jumpstart Your New Business Now, with the cover that I thought looked good because I come from the advertising world, and it was skinnier and it was just whatever I got. It was actually one of my online trainings that I transcribed and then revised to fit this book. So it's pretty much like a $4,000 program in a $20 book. But then a few years later, I was like, I don't like the cover anymore. I got more info to share. I don't really want a whole nother book. I'm just going to update it. So, I mean, I updated it. So now it's a second edition. So I second edition this one. I never did a book launch with this one because I didn't know what I didn't know back then. And so now I do. And now it's a best-selling author, international bestseller, because I did a book launch around it, and it's fatter and it's got much better cover. Like, it's just, so you can just, if you already printed, we can zhuzh it up a little bit. If we need to slap another cover, might not need it. I don't know. But most people who do their own covers should not. Like you were saying.
I've seen some pretty bad ones out there, absolutely. If you are listening to this podcast and you like what you're hearing, the That's Audacious podcast has loads of episodes, and you can find them on your favorite channel. Katrina, why is it that, because I see this all the time, so many people go to a book publisher and the book publisher doesn't talk about the stuff we've talked about today, and they will publish anything. They will just about take your money off of you, put the book together and go, there you go, there's a box of books that's cost you whatever $1,000 to create, and there's no support for marketing. Why does that happen, Katrina?
Because they're not marketers. They're not marketing and salespeople or business people. They are book publishers, and that's all they know. And they read books constantly. They don't necessarily take marketing and sales training. So I have a business coaching background. That's what I do primarily. This is my secondary business, which is actually turning into my primary. But I look at all the things. I look at all the sales, marketing. I look at your web pages, your landing pages, your everything, how you're positioning yourself, what you look like on social media, all your photos and videos and all the things, and how it all flows together with your book. If you get a publisher who doesn't think like that, I would run, because you're not going to get anywhere unless you also hire someone to do the business and publishing or business and marketing stuff around the book. Because yeah, my first book, I spent 6,000 and no coaching whatsoever, but I got a book. Yay. And then thank God I knew how to market and sell. So I was fine because I knew what to do with it. I got on TV with it multiple times, but like $6,000 for just a book, and that's it. Not even a box of books, frankly. I had to buy them extra. So it could be that. It could be, I've seen people charge 40 grand for a book contract and maybe a little publicity with that, but nothing that's going to bring back the ROI of 40 grand. So just be careful.
Yeah, I love it. If you are listening to this, and you know this is why I'm talking to Katrina, we speak the same language. This is why if you see somebody out there who has lots of books, they're on stage, they're selling their books, they're filling their consultancy, it's because they understand that the writing of the book and the creation of the book is only really a small percentage of what you have to do. Majority of it is marketing and promoting and positioning that book as your thought leadership funnel, your way of getting on stage and so on. And I have spoken to lots of speakers who've said to me, how do I use my book to, and it's like, you've got to market it and position yourself as the go-to. It might not get you specifically a speaking gig, but it will definitely get you on the main stage, and it'll definitely get you paid more because you're seen as an expert. And certainly winning awards for your book is another reason why you and I are talking, is it just levels you up, doesn't it? When you've got an organization, maybe a committee that's sitting there going, oh, who's the speaker for our conference this year? And they're comparing all of the different one sheets or media kits from different people. And they see that you've got a book, therefore there's evidence that you've got some IP. They see you've won awards for what you do. You've been interviewed on TV. You've done all these other things. Their estimation of what you can deliver on their stage just goes up, doesn't it? So marketing is all about positioning you as the expert in your space, isn't it, Katrina?
I agree. Yeah. And you can't avoid it. And there's lots to learn in this marketplace. So don't just do one thing. You can't just like, okay, I'm going to go on TikTok and I'm just going to stay on TikTok. Okay, that's fine. But you're missing like all these other things. Like you should learn how to diversify a few areas that are pertinent to what you do.
So on that, if someone's listening and they've got a book and they're going, great, what would be one of the first steps that they would take to really start promoting and marketing their book? Is it about choosing which channels are best for them, or what's the real starting point for someone who's going, right, I hear you, I've got this book, I'm obviously not marketing it, what do I need to do?
Well, it depends on the goals again, right? So it depends if they want to speak, then they would need a media kit, which means also a web page and some videos of them speaking. So, and some kind of package they can mail. So they're going to need some kind of glossy, something fun thing that gets noticed, right? That you're going to ship with your book. So that would be speaking. If you're going to look for clients, then you already have a website. Most likely you're already on some socials. You might just need to zhuzh it up a little bit, or stop putting your dog as your profile picture, or, there's little things that I find all over the place. I look for people sometimes and I'm like, I got to call this person. Okay, where's their phone number? Okay, it's not on Facebook. It's not on LinkedIn. It's not on their website. It's not on Instagram. Where the hell is their phone number? Like, it's nowhere. Stop leaving all your contact information off your things. You have to be easily found. That's just one thing that I find 99% of the time is missing. And so I find all those holes and opportunities for you to stop losing business and start gaining more followers, more people connecting with you, etc. So
brilliant. I love it. So right now, if you've got a book and then you're not marketing it properly, you're not leveraging it, go do an audit. Go do an audit of your LinkedIn profile, of your website, of can people easily find you? Make yourself what we call Googleicious. Get yourself out there so that people can actually, as Katrina, make it easy for people to get in touch with you. And maybe it's not necessarily your phone number, that's fine, but at least a contact form, an email, some way that they can actually reach out to you and connect. And get involved with them. Katrina, this has been absolutely brilliant chatting with you on the podcast today. I know we've squeezed a lot into such a short time. Is there one thing you would like to share with people to really motivate them to think about either getting started with a book or maybe coming to you to look at how they could be helped to coach or to look at marketing their book? What's something that might motivate them to say, you know what, yep, I've been sitting around too long. My book's been gathering dust in the garage in its boxes. What do I do next?
Yeah, well, there's nothing like having a separate set of eyeballs on what you're doing. And I'm one of those people that looks at everything. I look at, like I said, everything I've talked about, I look at with a new client, and I can do it in an hour and a half. So like I can look at all the things in all the places, because if it's not easily visible, then it's missing. Okay. So, I mean, from your goals to what you're selling and how you're pricing, to the marketing, to the follow-up, to the CRM, to the technology. I mean, I look at all of that with clients. I'll even change their web pages and do funnels and all the things. So it's a very all-in-one kind of a solution. So even just a one-time thing that can show you where to focus, that's, I think, would be the most logical place. Because if you go to some other coaches or other things, there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of them do focus on just one thing. So they focus on getting you a TED Talk. Okay, they're not going to look at all the things. They're going to, what do you need to do to get a TED Talk? Or if they're focused on getting you on videos on Instagram or, TikTok, they're only focused on that. They're focused on how to get more video from you or content from you. They're not going to look at all the things you're doing and selling necessarily. So you'll just have to talk to way too many people. I'm all about doing it more affordably and faster. So with whatever it is you're doing to get to that next level.
I love it. Look, Katrina's information and contact details will be somewhere on this page that you're watching this or listening to this podcast. So please reach out to her and do that. Katrina, every time I interview somebody, I ask them the same question. If you could go back in time to when you first started what you're doing, is there some advice that you would give yourself?
Oh my God. I just like, if you said one, I don't know how to pick one thing or any. I mean, personally, like a lot of my story is from personal life and that stuff that holds you back, right? So I would say stop settling. Stop settling with, even significant others that are not supportive, from crappy people who, don't pay you what you're worth or, pay you late or whatever. Don't settle for anything, because you're opening the door then for all the good people that are coming through. So personally or professionally. So I would say that.
Don't settle. I love it. That's brilliant. Katrina, it's been fabulous chatting with you today. If you want to know more about what Katrina does and how she can help you, get your books out there. Not just create a book, but create a marketing platform for your IP, for your thought leadership, for the thing you want to do you just want to make an impact on the world and you need her help. Please get in touch with her. And if you want to look at awards for your books, please, we've got a package together that you can do to really launch your books into the stratosphere as a credible author with an award for what you're doing. Thank you, Katrina, so much for being on the podcast today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if you're listening, remember, you do deserve to be well-known, well-paid, and wanted. We'll see you in the next episode. Thanks so much for listening to the That's Audacious podcast. Remember, there's no place for modesty in business, and you do deserve to be well-known, well-paid, and wanted. For more episodes, please subscribe to the podcast on your favorite channel or follow us online. The links are in the description below.